I was born in the year 2001. I have never used a floppy disk. I have never touched a Walkman in my life. I've always had a car that was air conditioned. Yet, I think like a lot of my peers, I have this strange, I experienced this strange phenomenon called vicarious nostalgia. Nostalgia for an age that I've never lived in, for a time that I've never experienced, for objects that were made long before I was born. And today I want to talk about why that is. I'm sorry for the kind of overly eerie intro. In the first draft of my script and plan, this made a lot more sense for context of the video. But the place that I wanted to film, which had this cool old barn or something, was not foggy. And I really wanted it to be foggy. And I know the barn would have been more connected even if it wasn't foggy, but what are you going to do? So here I am in the woods talking about nostalgia. I know I'm not the first, nor will I be the last probably to talk about this phenomenon. And I also know that not everybody is like me. I'm particularly interested in old stuff, and I know there are probably a smaller subset of people that are particularly interested in old stuff. But I think I do have kind of a unique perspective, and I've been thinking about it, and I have maybe a little bit of a deeper take than your usual reasons, I guess. Whew. Okay, so obviously we live in an age of convenience, and really, we're very blessed in our modern world. But I think sometimes, even though we are more connected than we've ever been, we're also kind of less connected in a way, at least physically. I think we probably go outside less. We handle less real physical things. I think a lot of our interaction with the world is through a 5-inch screen that we all keep in our pockets all the time. And in a lot of ways, that's really helpful. It's really easy to access information on these kind of things. But I think it can make us feel a little bit removed from life, from reality. And I think we've lost something there. And this is a bit of a stretch, but I think the reason why maybe these old pieces of tech or just old things in general are kind of popular, that's not really a good way to put it, but the reason why people are interested in collecting them is because they kind of make us feel connected to a more physical era. They make us feel more connected to life. I guess they make us remember what it feels like to handle something, because you actually do have to turn a knob or a dial, or you can feel the old leather of a book or something like that. And I think in a weird way, they almost provide that physical connection that we lack in our daily lives. Whether or not they succeed in doing that, you could make different arguments, but I think it is a really interesting indicator of the society we live in, and of some of the drawbacks that we've maybe discovered by building such a convenient world. Ironically, as I talk about this, I'm reading off my phone to remember what I wanted to say. And I don't mean to say that the time that has now passed was all perfect. Obviously, it's really easy to look at the 80s or the 90s or whenever and think wow, it looks so cool, and I can listen to my music that kind of sounds like it's from the 80s even though it's not, and think oh, what a great time to be alive. But it was it was life as normal, and there were problems and there were things that we had to get figured out and that we did fix since then. But maybe there was something we had that we don't anymore. So really, that's the main thing, I think, and don't judge my handwriting. I think the main thing is connection. I really think that when you use an old piece of tech, because it's analog, or because it's a little more tactile, you feel more connected. Or when you handle an old book that is maybe a little moldy, the leather's a little cracked, you feel connected to an era now past. I found this, I can't remember what this is called. I found it in a dumpster. Someone just threw it away. So, don't ask me why I was in a dumpster. I wasn't in the dumpster. I was throwing trash away in the dumpster, and I saw it. I had to snag it. And it's super cool. I mean, I feel like we had these in classes when I was young, but they weren't really used very much. But this, I got it, and then I went on eBay and I actually bought some like transparencies for it, and I found this super cool, like layered. Here, hold on. Super random, but it's this like layered thing where you can like layer up the different pieces of the cell. I don't know if this is a very accurate image of a cell, but I think it's super cool. But you know, things like this, like yes, a modern projector is better in most ways, but I don't know, like something about the fact that you know, like you can handle the individual sheets, and it's all here and it's physical. It's like a real thing that exists in the real world. It does feel different. You know, I really initially thought that this was just gonna kind of be like a fun video where I could talk about some of my old cameras and my old books and stuff like that. But I guess, yeah, after thinking about it, we are almost, in a way, maybe losing our grip on reality in our modern day. You think about like how much time we all spend on our screens every day, and how much time we spend inside under artificial lighting, and now especially with like AI and stuff, like I worry, I guess, for us in the future. And I'm not saying like, okay, well, everybody go buy vintage things, because you know we don't really need to buy stuff. But I'm just saying, like, I think, like I said before, that is a sign of where we're at as a people, especially for the younger generations. And I think it may be a bad sign. I don't know. This video has been a lot of kind of flowy, not fully completed thoughts. If you have opinions or thoughts or ideas, please leave them in the comment section below. I'd be interested to hear what other people think. And I know I have a lot of old stuff. I mean, you can see behind me, I'm a collector, and it's probably a bad habit. I don't know, I have a lot of stuff. Probably gonna be a hoarder when I'm old. But yeah, get out there, I guess. Stay connected. Remember what it's like to live, to touch real things, not just a screen. But also, AI relationships, probably not a good idea. That's totally unrelated to what I mean, not completely unrelated, but you know, like not really talked about that. I do actually want to talk about that in the future though, because I think it's really interesting and also a little worrying for the future. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.